International Society for Krishna Consciousness, abbreviated as Iskon, known colloquially as the Movement of Hare Krishna, is a Gaudiya Vaishnav Hindu religious organization. Iskon was founded in 13 July 1966 in New York City by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Iskon has disciples all over the world from every race and is mainly focused on offering knowledge of Krishna to whomever is interested in receiving it via the medium of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Let's know more about concept of Krishna consciousness and God from ex-mechanical engineer turned full-time devotee Sri Ramarupa Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So why the youth nowadays don't accept God? But actually it is not true. After COVID, a lot of youngsters, they have started visiting temple. If you can see around 9:30 in the morning, a lot of students, they sit there and chant Hare Krishna also. So the equation has changed after the COVID. But still the question arises, because nowadays um, Indian education was dominated by um, left liberals and all these atheistic people, who have dominated in writing all the history and all that. So they always try to degrade our Vedas or Sanatana Dharma or Vedic culture, especially Bhagavad Gita and all. So that is one of the reasons, because right from the childhood, knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana and all is not given. I want to bring it back, remind you that this Lord Macaulay wrote a letter to Queen that I have toured all over India, and then I found out that it is very, very difficult to find a corrupt person, debauchee, and other bad people in Indian society, because every Indian reads Ramayana and Mahabharata every day. So, if you want to conquer India, we have to destroy their culture, and then we have to make them disbelieve in their own scriptures, Ramayana and Mahabharata. So that's what happened. That is why, because we are not taught. Otherwise, anybody who reads Mahabharata, Ramayana, Srimad Bhagavatam, they will believe in God, because they make so much so logical statements regarding the existence of God. That is one thing. Another thing is why we should worship God. I'll give you two reasons. One is like Srila Prabhupada brought out this example, saying that we all want to be happy in our lives. We want to be successful in our life. We want to earn a lot of money and live very comfortably. And there are so many people who are trying to become successful, who are trying to become rich, who are trying to become famous. But some people are becoming rich and some people are becoming famous. Some people only are able to live comfortably. Others are failing to achieve their goals. So then Prabhupada raised this question. So who is putting obstacles on the path of our success? Who is stopping us from achieving our goals? Prabhupada replied, The scientists and other people, they say, oh, it is by chance, but actually it is not. There is one personality called God who is actually giving us success and who is giving us some people failure. So that is the reason. So if God is not there, then who is stopping you? So I can achieve whatever I want, but it is not like that. You know, as per our previous karmas, there is God who gives results uh, as per our previous karmas. So if God is actually not there, then anybody can do anything, but God is stopping us from achieving what we want because He is supreme controller. One more point: why we should worship God? Just like suppose an example is given. Suppose you are traveling, sitting in a bus. So if I ask you, uh, are you moving? So you say, no, I am moving, but actually the bus is moving. The bus is moving. But still you say, oh, I didn't, I became very tired. I have to stretch my legs. After that, you will say. But actually, even though you are actually sitting in the bus going, but actually the movement belongs to the uh, bus, not you. In the same way, a soul is traversing through this body, journeying through these so many bodies and all that. And the question is arised that who is enjoying? Are you enjoying or the body is enjoying? But actually, just like a passenger sitting in the bus is very passive, in the same way, the soul sitting in this body is very passive. The enjoyment and suffering actually they belong to the body. That is why Vedas raise this question. You are traversing through so many bodies. The soul is passing through so many bodies, 84 lakh species. But finally, when the soul comes to the human form of life, the question is rising: when you will enjoy, when the soul will enjoy. So to answer that, the answer is given that in order for the soul to enjoy, you have to contact God because the body and the mind, they are material in nature. The soul is spiritual in nature. Just like water and oil cannot mix, the soul cannot enjoy in this body and in this material world, is only trying to enjoy. But actually the real enjoyment, uh, the, uh, the, the soul will get only by contacting with God, because God is all spiritual, soul is also spiritual, and God is known as Anandamaya Ghana. He is personified bliss. So actually, if somebody wants to be happy, wants to derive real happiness, he has to contact God. So that is why, like I was an engineer, mechanical engineer. Then I also used to raise these questions: why we should worship God? By simply by working hard, you can achieve whatever you want. There is no place for God in our lives. Like that, I used to argue. But when I was searching for happiness, finally the search for that happiness brought me to Krishna, because Krishna is known as Sachidananda Vigraha. Like that, there are so many of youngsters like that. Even though we have studied science, even though we are exposed to all these atheistic arguments, even though we were convinced at one particular time that God doesn't exist and we don't need God, but actually um, uh, we are in contact with God. We cannot live without God even for a moment. Just like suppose somebody is short of oxygen supply, so he is put on oxygen cylinder. They charge some 1000 rupees, 2000 rupees. But just imagine, God is only supplying oxygen to all of us. Just imagine God stops supplying like that. Then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am the taste of the water. Rasoham apsukonteya. I am the taste of water. So we are actually tasting God whenever we are drinking water. Then Prabhashmi Shashishuriyaya. I am the sunshine. Then I am the moonshine. Right? So as soon as you come in contact with sunshine, you are in touch with God. We are not conscious when we are asleep, but God is making us breathe in and out. So without God, actually, we cannot live even for a second. So why people are blind? So they don't recognize. And then last argument is that even these rationalists and atheistic people also, they could never prove God, that God doesn't exist. They could never prove. It is their blind faith. Just like theists, even though we cannot see God, but we have faith based on the scriptures that there is God, because there is a logic and all that. But what logic they have got? That just because I cannot see something, they say God doesn't exist. Oh, I cannot see. Suppose if I ask you, everybody, we all claim that my mind is disturbed. Suppose if I ask you to show where is your mind, what is their answer? So, but still, even though I cannot see my mind, I know that I have a mind and my mind is disturbed, we say, like that. So, even the air also we cannot see, but it doesn't mean that air doesn't exist. So, their philosophy, seeing is believing, is not correct. So, it is their blind faith that God doesn't exist. Otherwise, they have no proof. If they have proven that God doesn't exist, so like other day we went to Tirupati. I was standing in after even getting a special ticket, darshan ticket. I was standing in the queue for 7 hours. People are standing 48 hours for taking darshan. So uh, show them their proof that why are God doesn't exist, why are you waiting in the queue? So they didn't prove, they cannot prove. It is their blind faith and then illogical. But our faith is based on the scripture. Then you know so and then there is a process. Their question, can you show me God? Just like suppose somebody in the chemistry student says that if you mix hydrogen and oxygen, you get water particle. Suppose if I ask, can you show me? Then he will say, uh, you know, I cannot show you now. First, you have to go to the laboratory and do the experiment. Then only, if you mix hydrogen and oxygen, then only I can show you that the mixture of hydrogen and oxygen gives you what particle. In the same way, the very question is very foolish. Can you show me God? Because the purpose of human life is to search for God. Then at the end of life, uh, to meet God, by the time of death. So can you show me God? Because he cannot see God. That's why he is God. That is the logic. So you can't say, can you show me God? Just like when Krishna was present, he is the supreme personality of God. Even Duryodhan was meeting him and all, but he never believed that Krishna is God. So by acquiring knowledge through Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, one will understand God. Then we have to search for Him. That is the purpose of human life. So the question is wrong. So there is a process for finding out God, and then actually God is beyond our mind and senses. Then uh, how do we find God? So first thing, why do we why do we come to the path of searching for God? Just like there are IITs, IIMs, where top brain students with very high IQ, they go to IITs. JE toppers and all, IIMs also, like that. If you see in Iskon, there are so many IITians and IIMs. They are actually practicing Krishna consciousness. But IIT is the citadel of scientific research and all, and mostly they don't believe in God and then rationalism and all that. So why they are coming to God consciousness, even after being exposed to all the science and all that? Because the reason is the soul, like I mentioned before, we are actually Anandamayo Abhyasa, it is said. Anand means to be happy is our birthright. But if you see, sometimes we are happy, but most of the time, um, we are very, very unhappy, we are distressed, suffering in this world. That's why we sometimes I say there is one movie, Kabhi Kushi, Hamesha Gum. This world is like that. So the, when some persons like us, this is my experience, that when in search of happiness, when we are only facing suffering, 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 and then a stage comes where actually I will say that I cannot suffer anymore. Is there any remedy for this suffering? Then the search starts. Then God is sitting in our heart. He will help you. Go to Iskon or go to read Bhagavad Gita and then come to me. You will become happy. So the main reason, people come to the God because they cannot anymore bear the suffering in this material world. So that is one thing. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that this is the proof, this is the proof that there is a previous life and there is future life. Krishna has given proof that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, Purva Abhyasena Teneva Yavasopi Avashopi Saha. Jijnasur Apiyogasya Shabda Brahmad Ativartate. So Krishna is saying, in order to practice this yoga, it takes lifetimes. Because based on the experience of previous life, Purva Abhyasana Teneva, based on in this life, at one particular time, you will become naturally attracted to this process of Krishna consciousness. And this is what happened. I was a atheist for almost up to the age of 25 years. Um, but suddenly I became God conscious after reading Bhagavad Gita, because in my previous life I had practiced, and then that goes on. So this is the reason why some people, they suddenly become God conscious, Krishna conscious, because in their previous life they already practiced, and that was told by Krishna in 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita. So there are these things are there, that because of previous life's experience, naturally we will become attracted to Krishna consciousness, and those people who are actually cannot anymore endure suffering. And then Prabhupada wrote, even though scientists have made a lot of progress, in science and making people's life comforts, but the scientists, philosophers, leaders of modern society have failed to alleviate the sufferings of people. Somebody may be having a Mercedes Benz car, but his mental suffering, they cannot overcome by sitting in Mercedes Benz car or sitting in front of an Apple computer. So what is the way out? So even though people are comfortable, but they are not happy. uh, they are not able to solve many of the societal problems because of advent of scientific research, all these problems. But we have experienced that after coming to Krishna consciousness, my distress has been reduced to almost nil. So that is the thing. The basic process involves just like when a child wants to learn language and all, they teach you ABCD. Like that in Krishna consciousness also we have ABCD. A for association of devotees, B for books, C for chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, D for diet, means taking only prasadam. So this is a process for achieving God consciousness in this age of Kali. So how do we become? How do we become interested? Uh, so there is a process. Just like I was not so much interested, but I used to come to Juhu beach, and then I used to come to Iskon temple uh, for drinking masala tea and eating samosas and vadas. Then somebody forced me to take a book of Bhagavad Gita, but somehow um, I started reading Bhagavad Gita. Then, as soon as I started reading Bhagavad Gita, I started understanding, oh, my folly. Like that, somehow or other, that is why Iskon is preaching all over the world, especially youth. We have college programs um, in every youth programs for in every college almost, like that. There, when we go there, we have some secular topics. What is the goal of human life? How to control mind and all that. So people come, students come, and then the first principle is giving them prasadam. So when people come to Iskon temple or when they come in contact with Iskon, Prabhupada said, first thing you do is give them prasadam. So a prasadam means food offered to Krishna. It is remnants of Krishna. So when people, even most atheistic people also, if they take prasadam, they appreciate, oh, this is nice. And then that prasadam purifies their heart. Then it awakens their senses. Then slowly the faith will develop like that. And then sometimes devotees, when people come and associate with us, when they talk to us and all that, they are friendly with us. When we explain, then when they see the logic, then they take up Krishna consciousness. So like that, they have. There are many things. And then why only Krishna and all? Actually, Srila Prabhupada was not a narrow-minded person. Once Srila Prabhupada was in Iran. Um, then that Ajan, that is going on. So one of the disciples, he commented, "What is this, Prabhupada? They should stop this. It is nuisance and all that." Srila Prabhupada asked, "Do you want me to become a sectarian?" No, that is their way of reaching out to God. So they are actually calling out the names of God. So uh, Srila Prabhupada was very liberal. Don't, if somebody is following Islam and if somebody is following Christianity seriously, don't try to teach them, don't try to preach to them because you will be breaking their faith. So if somebody is practicing Christianity, if somebody is practicing Islam sincerely, there is no need for to convert anybody like that, because um, Christianity, Islam, and Sanatan Dharma, everything is teaching about God only. So ultimately, their paths also lead to God. Just like Prabhupada said, Jesus Christ. This Christ word come Krishnatas. So if somebody is chanting Jesus Christ's name, but actually they are chanting Krishna's name only. So what is Allah? Allah means the greatest. So in Sanskrit, it is called Brahman. So we also keep saying Aham Brahmasmi, Parabrahman, Brahman, like that. So Allah means all pervading. So we have in the Vedas, we have this concept of God is all pervading. Like I said, Krishna is taste in the water. He's pervading in the water. Like that, God is all pervading. Like that. But there is why only Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness helps you how to love God. Uh, so because Krishna is known as another name of Krishna is Mukunda. Because I already discussed about becoming free from life of misery. So becoming free from life of misery is called mukti, liberation. So another name of Krishna is Mukunda. Mukunda means one who gives liberation. So if somebody wants liberation, we should only worship Krishna. But if somebody wants something else, they can worship any god, any demigod. like that. But just like Krishna is in charge of liberation. So if somebody wants liberation, Krishna has somebody has to worship only Krishna. Otherwise, no problem. People know, just like these Christians, they go to the church and ask, "Oh God, give us our daily bread." So they give, they get their daily bread. But daily for daily bread, no problem. You can. But if you cannot, if you want liberation, you cannot go ask for liberation, because Krishna is the only one who can give liberation. So, but everybody doesn't want liberation. So it's like that. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that idam tute guhyatamam pravaksham anasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase ashubhat rajavidya rajguhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyaksha vagamam dharmyam susukam kartum avyayam. So Krishna has given a process to find out the nature of God and to see God, and then you can actually experience pratyaksha vagam. Just like when you do the experiment in the laboratory, you can see all the reactions. Like that, when you are practicing how to find God, you can actually really experience. Of course, that is subjective. So Krishna is saying that. So there is a process. If you practice this bhakti yoga for 60 years, Prabhupada actually said, you can meet God face to face. Hare Krishna.
Distribution of prasadam.
हरे कृष्णा। ये है गोपाल प्रसादम हॉल। यहाँ मंदिर में जितने भक्त लोग आते हैं जो सेवा करते हैं, और कुछ गेस्ट लोग हैं बहुत दूर दूर से आते हैं, अमरनाथ, फिर विठलवाड़ी या सूरत, अहमदाबाद, तो उनको एक लो प्राइस रेस्टोरेंट, एक गोविंदा रेस्टोरेंट है हाई वैल्यू वाला, ये लो प्राइस रेस्टोरेंट, तो 120 पर थाली है। तो भक्त लोगों को खाने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ चाहिए, भगवान का प्रसाद। तो हम लोग यहाँ सवेरे शाम वी गिव प्रसादम टू पीपल हु कैन पे 120, और दो सेवा करते हैं उनको फ्री प्रसादम है। एंड वी आल्सो टीच टू देम, उनके उनके एरिया में भी टेल देम यू कैन गो देयर एंड वी आर ओपनिंग ए टेम्पल और द टेम्पल सेंटर इज कमिटेड। So this way we are also acting like a PRO and everything together. 5 items are there: rice, dal, sabji, roti, halwa, and it is cooked in kitchen every day. Around 250 लोग खाते हैं, 250 लोग से 300 लोग। फेस्टिवल में थोड़ा ज़्यादा होता है, कुछ लोगों को प्रसाद मिलता भी नहीं है। तो ये है। थैंक यू सो मच, आते रहिए। हरे कृष्ण।